A beautiful evening in New Bern, North Carolina, on the Trent River, right at the confluence of the Neuse River. I'm on my sailboat. I am enjoying the sunset and thinking about numbers, and I want to share a neat trick for predicting how long an ascent in a Collatz sequence is going to last. So in order to do this, you need to know the congruence of the odd number plus 1. So m plus 1, if it's congruent 0 mod 4, in other words, if it's divisible evenly by 4, you have a number that is going to grow, and it's going to grow by 1.5. Well, now I'm in my cabin, and I'm going to explain what I was talking about before. So I generated a sequence of numbers, and actually I plugged in 1,000,001, and these are the steps that follow soon after that. And it goes down, it bottoms out at 26367, and then it makes a nice ascent for, I think, 8 numbers. And so, yeah, it really looks nice. And so I'm going to explain how, just by knowing the first number, 26367, I could have told you, or I can tell you, that there would be 7 successive or consecutive growth steps. So the reason I knew there would be at least one is because if you add 1 to an odd number and it's evenly divisible by 4, this guarantees a growth step. I mean, essentially it means it has at least 2 factors of 2. And it turns out that this number, and again we add 1 to it to make it even, it turns out this one has 8 2's. So 2 exponent 8, I suppose. And so I know from this that the following 6 odd numbers will have the same congruence, and so they will grow, because whether you know it or not, congruence is the determining parameter for whether a number grows or not. This is the operation m plus 1 times 3 over 2 minus 1, so that's 26368 times 1.5 minus 1. And we will see what that number is on the next slide. So it's 39551, because just as I described in the operation, you subtract 1 at the end to make it odd again. So, but what we're looking at is the properties or the factors of the even number, and this is what reveals what's going to happen. So as soon as I found there were 8 2's here, I knew there would be 6 growth operations following it. And the final one is when there are only 2 2's left. Obviously, I mean, this is common sense, that if it's divisible, evenly divisible by 4, the minimum number of factors of 2 is 2. And you see this nice division between, or depletion of the 2's and replacement with 3's, and of course this happens because we're multiplying by 1.5. Obviously if we were multiplying by 2 that would not happen, but since we're multiplying by 1.5 it has to be 3. And that is essentially the story, but it really is
an amazing thing that you can predict an ascent by factoring m plus 1. So that would be it. Thank you and good evening.